Hi everybody, and welcome to the fifth one in our series on mission-shaped living for kids. And today we are going to be thinking about connecting. Maybe you have a game like this at home where the aim is to connect 4 counters in a row to win the game, like I just did. You know, when Jesus sent out 72 of his disciples to go and meet people and tell them about him, he described the different reactions that people might have. And he told them, if people seem like they don't want to hear what you've got to share, then it's okay to move on and to leave those people for now. He also gave them a way of connecting with people and a way that would help them to recognise whether those people were ready or open to hearing about Jesus. You can read all about this in Luke chapter 10 verses 1 to 20 if you want to have a look in your favourite Bible. And we need to think and ask God what ways we can connect with people and how we can see whether or not they're ready to hear what we have to share about Jesus. I love stories. I love books, I love plays, I love films, TV programmes, anything that tells a good story. I think it's because a good story draws us in, doesn't it? It fires our imagination. It transports us to different places. It helps us to ask questions and find answers. It lets us understand or see different points of view. And sometimes it makes us feel like we understand what someone's going through and that somebody else understands us. If you've got your Mission Shaped Living for Kids booklet, there's some space in there where you can write something about a favourite story that you have, or perhaps you could just chat about it or write it down on a piece of paper. Jesus knew the value of a good story. In fact, he used stories to connect with people all the time. We often call them parables, don't we? How many of Jesus's stories or parables can you think of? Why not pause me now for a minute and have a chat with the people around you, or if you're on your own, you could maybe see if you can make a list. How many of Jesus's stories can you think of? Go. You know, I often think that I am more comfortable talking to people through stories than I am talking to them normally, like this. Here's what I mean. There once was a girl who knew God. She couldn't remember how, or when, or where she first came to know God, but she somehow just knew he was always there. She knew that she loved God and that God loved her. As the girl grew older, other things began to distract her from God. She was worried that God might want to stop her from doing these things, that he might somehow take away her freedom. Eventually, she realised that she was not living the life that God wanted for her. She felt ashamed to talk to God because of this, so she didn't. She didn't speak to God for a long time, and yet he was always standing just behind her, as if he was waiting for her to turn around. She began to feel dissatisfied with the life she was living, almost like she was in the wrong place. To most people, it looked like a good life, a happy life, but she knew it wasn't quite right. Then, one day, she heard a voice inside her head saying, "It's time to come home." And she realised that even though she had given up on God, God had never given up on her. God had an important lesson for her. If you want to live a life where you can be free, look to Jesus. If you want to live a life that is satisfying, look to Jesus. If you want to live a life that is right, look to Jesus. So she did. She became freer than she'd ever been. She became more satisfied than she'd ever been. She became more convinced she was in the right place. And she became more brave. Brave enough to sit here and tell her story to you. So what's your story? One of the things that God has made me realise over the years is that we all have a slightly different story to tell about our walk with Jesus. And that because those stories are so different, that we're able to connect with so many different people. And again, sometimes people might not be ready to hear my story or what I have to share about Jesus. But other times they might be really ready to hear my story, and they might feel that my story really connects with them. I hope that you are able to grow more confident in telling the story about your journey with Jesus and how God has come into your life. Here's a little prayer idea for you to try this week as we continue to think about that. So if you have a game like this one, Connect 4, or something similar, then why not grab it and grab some of the counters? If you haven't got a game like this, maybe you could have a look around the house for other objects that connect together. Maybe it could be jigsaw pieces or magnets, anything that connects together. And just spend a moment maybe with the pieces. And each time you make a connection, we could be asking God to help us. Maybe something like this. God, help me to see the value in my own story. Lord, can you show me the people that might connect with my story, the people that I could share with? Amen. I'm sure you could think of different things to say to God while you're connecting your bits and pieces together as well. But I pray blessing on you this week as you think about your story and the people that you might be able to connect with. See you again soon. Bye.
Hello again. Now, this week, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to have a go at telling your own story. The story of your journey with Jesus. If you've got your Mission Shaped Living for Kids booklet, then there's a little bit in there that'll help you with some handy pointers in there. If you want my top tips, here they are. Number 1, keep it short. Number 2, keep it simple. Number 3, try not to use too many words that people who don't go to church wouldn't understand. And number 4, keep it fixed on Jesus. That's your mission. Oh no, gotta go. This message is about to self-destruct.